This content is being produced by the podcast Bourbon Real Talk. The usual show format is to do a live review of a whiskey with a guest who tells their personal story. The purpose is to expose the world to the lives of people they may not have otherwise come in contact with. The goal is to reduce division and form new connections. Occasionally, we produce content that is meant to be educational like this program. For more information about Bourbon Real Talk, you can go to our website at bourbonrealtalk.com, where you can sign up for our email list, or we can be found on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play, and iTunes by searching Bourbon Real Talk. Enjoy. Hey guys, Randy Sullivan here with Bourbon Real Talk, coming to you with a little bit of bonus content. Going to be a little bit nerdy today, but I think we're going to have some fun. So you guys have had a ton of fun poking fun at me for tasting banana and whiskeys. And so I thought I'd do a little educational piece about why I taste banana and whiskeys and maybe help you to be able to identify that flavor. So when we are trying to break down whiskey, a lot of what we're tasting are ester compounds. And esters are formed during all stages of the whiskey making process whenever acids come in contact with alcohols. And so flavors that are contributing or that are being contributed to the whiskey through esters, are practically everything. Apple, berry, herbal, floral, pineapple, cherry, coconut, mushroom, earthy, woody. All of those flavors are all from esters. And yes, even bananas. So the banana flavor that you see in whiskey is coming from esters. Now, about 90% of the esters from my research are formed during the fermentation process, although there are other esters that are formed during maturation, so on and so forth. And it can be affected by the yeast strain that the distiller is using. It can also be affected by fermentation temperature, and I started to delve deeper into that, but it looked like I was going to need like a master's degree in chemical engineering, so I kind of backed off. But just suffice it to say, there's these compounds that are being formed. Now, with a lot of the craft distilleries, they're using a pot still to distill their whiskey, which means that the whiskey's being distilled in sessions. So they'll take some of the wash from the fermentation, they'll put it into the still, they'll distill it, usually multiple times. But most of the whiskey that we drink out of Kentucky is coming from continuous stills or column stills. And when they're using a pot still, they have what they call cuts, where they cut the faint. So we've heard the term, I can't tell heads nor tails of that. That's actually a distiller's term. And when they're distilling, there's three parts. There's the head, which you typically don't want, and that's where most of the esters are at from the fermentation, and they typically get cut out of the whiskey with the pot still. Then there's the heart, and then there's the tail, and then the tail, there's some harmful compounds in there like acetone and things like that. And so because it's usually cut out during the fermentation or during the distillation process, a lot of distillers consider some of those heavier esters or the stronger flavor esters, when they're in too high of a ratio, to kind of be a flaw in the whiskey. And so that's why some people may not like it that you taste banana in their whiskey. So they can be removed in the cuts. We did talk about banana flavor. The ester compound responsible for contributing banana flavor is called Isoamyl Acetate. And it makes the whiskey taste like banana primarily and secondarily like pears. And it's actually a very common ester, so almost all whiskey should have some isoamyl acetate in it. Whether or not you can detect that has to do with the levels that are in it. When it's in balance, it makes the whiskey taste, full and complex and things like that. But because when it's out of balance, it tastes a little bit dirty or a little bit funky and a little bit sweet, just think about like a stinky overripe banana. Some distillers consider it a flaw. And so, as you may know, I recently stuck my foot in my mouth in front of one of my whiskey icons because I said I tasted banana as whiskey, and he didn't like that. But he did make a very interesting comment whenever I said that. And what he said was, "This is not Jack Daniels. Somebody get this guy out of here." Now, the reason why he said that is because some distilleries are kind of known for isoamyl acetate or banana flavor. And the main parent company that's known for that is Brown-Forman. So virtually every Brown-Forman product has a strong banana component to it. Jack Daniel's has a strong banana component. Old Forester, even some of their higher age products often have a strong banana component, and Woodford Reserve have a strong banana component. But I also get it in some Sazerac products, specifically 1792 has a lot of banana flavor to it. And some of the younger Buffalo Trace products, Mash Bill 1 and 2, both have a fair bit of banana. So I get a lot of banana on the regular Buffalo Trace bourbon, not so much on some of the barrel selects, but definitely on the regular label. And then I get a lot of it, and don't kill me, on the newer Blantons. So the older Blantons, I don't get much banana on. It's mostly vanilla component that I'm getting, but I'm getting a little bit more banana on some of the newer Blantons. And in part of my research revealed to me that isoamyl acetate is a ester compound that will evaporate with angel share. So that means that sometimes whiskey tastes like bananas because it hasn't been aged long enough. And that's probably why I get it on a lot of the younger age-stated products like Jack Daniel's, Jim Beam White Label I taste banana in, things like that. So, you know, if you're tasting banana, it's okay, especially if it's a younger product. For a long time when I was tasting banana, I thought that was a flavor that was only in young whiskey. But now I'm learning that it's just a flavor that hadn't been eliminated through the maturation process. So I have a little challenge for you. I had this really interesting experience where I drank a banana daiquiri that my wife didn't want when we were in Key West. And it tasted exactly like the banana flavor that I get on whiskey. And so what I want you to do, if you want to see if you can detect banana flavor in whiskey, I want you to take a ripe banana. I want you to take 1 cup of water, 2 cups of ice, and 1.5 ounces of vodka. And I want you to blend it up thoroughly. And then I want you to take a pour of whatever banana forward whiskey you heard me mention that you have. If you've got a Jack Daniel's, if you've got an Old Forester, 1792, something like that. And I want you to taste them side by side and see if that banana flavor that you're tasting in that daiquiri comes across in the whiskey that you're tasting. And I bet that you're probably going to start tasting bananas too. So anyway, as always, I love you guys. If you like this type of content, I'm going to be doing some shorter bonus content in addition to my longer podcast. So please subscribe to Bourbon Real Talk. We can be found on Facebook, on our website, bourbonrealtalk.com. We can also be found on all podcast players. If you're a member in this group, you can subscribe on my Libsyn RSS feed through the link that's going to be posted here, so you'll never miss an episode. And if you want to keep making fun of me for tasting bananas, I'll understand. It's good fun for everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.